Call the meeting to order, please. Could I have your attention? The meeting is now called to order. Could we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome everyone to our meeting this evening. We will have introductions.
Randy Gilman, Assistant Superintendent, Elementary.
Nisha Patel, Assistant Superintendent, Secondary.
Vicki Hansen, Board Member.
Steve Holloway, Board Member.
Dan Krupa, Board Treasurer. John Brazil, Chief Financial Officer.
Sandy Manchella, Board Secretary.
Okay. Kelly Brock, Assistant Superintendent, Human Resources.
Declan Fitzpatrick, Executive Director of Curriculum and Instruction.
Jim Shalhoub, Board Member.
Scott Stewart, Board Member.
Jim Whipke, Superintendent.
Carry on, Board Vice President. I'd like to remind the board members once again to please speak into your microphone so you can be heard. 2.3, approval of meeting minutes from July the 24th. Could I have a motion, please?
So move.
Second.
Roll call. 2.4, approval of agenda for August the 7th. Motion, please.
We didn't vote on that. We didn't vote that last motion.
Just vote, not roll call. Okay, could we have a vote, please? All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Now 2.4, approval of agenda for August the 7th. Motion, please.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. 3.1, patron comments. Mr. Gilman. I'm sorry, Dr. Gilman.
Thank you. I have one public comment this evening. Dudley Stark, if you'd like to make your way up to the front. I want to remind you that problems involving particular identifiable employee or students are reserved for executive session. You'll have a 3-minute time period, and I believe Dr. Stewart's going to be keeping the time, and you'll be given a warning after 2.5 minutes.
Thank you for listening. I'm a resident here, and I'm not in favor of this new proposal for another tax increase. There's a lot of elderly and senior citizens that are just living from day to day, and if we get another increase, where do we go? You just have a pretty tremendous budget to work with, and it just seems like you just can work within your budget, be accountable for it. You got elected to this office, so it should serve you. I don't have much else to say. I know I won't be a very popular person around here, but as far as the seniors and that, and the ones that are on fixed incomes, that's all I got to say. We can't really afford another tax increase. Thank you.
Thank you. 3.2, superintendent comments. Dr. Whipke.
Thank you, Carol. I want to first of all thank everybody for being here. No matter what side of the fence you fall on in terms of a bond issue or not, what a huge statement this is that the community's here and hearing these numbers to take a look at our proposal tonight and to also take a look at making this community, making our school district what we want it to be, all right, and what you want it to be. So I'm going to go into it some thank yous first because I would be remiss if I didn't point out a few people. But I always leave people out when I thank them. But first and foremost, thank you for being here. What you guys may not know, or you may know, normally we don't have this type of crowd, Tyson, at a board meeting, all right? This is really different. Usually, Tracy, we have maybe 10, right, at our board meeting. And normally our board meetings are not here. Normally our board meetings are at the service center, but since today was an election day, we had to move it down here. What some people may also not know is the tremendous job that our custodial and maintenance crew does now putting this, not only setting this up, but what you don't know behind the scenes is that our air unit went down twice before this, and we were nervous that we were going to have to move it yet again. So fortunately, we were able to get that air unit running, and going and up and flowing through. We also had to move, if you didn't notice, our closed session when we do it down here is normally in our media room. We had to slide it down here in our AP room because we had some roofs that were leaking and some ceiling tile that was leaking. So we had to slide that. But we made it through it, right? And we have everybody here. These are 250 seats that are here. So that just shows you we have standing room only in the back. And I'm sorry for that. We have a quick board meeting other than this presentation. So I promise what I'll do is once we're done with our presentation, I'll give everybody an opportunity to exit if they'd like, okay? Not that you have to. We can keep all 300 people here. That would be great, all right? I also want to point out our technology department. Luke Heydrich has done a wonderful job. I probably didn't mention this enough, but we are live streamed, and we have a YouTube channel that we live stream our board meetings now at. Luke was instrumental in setting that up with his technology department that's there, so I can't thank that department enough for their hard work on that front. And then finally, you'll hear from Sam Rayburn tonight. Sam Rayburn is instrumental. He's our Director of Communications. Sam, you want to give a quick wave? All right. I tease him all the time because he's our communications department, and it's a department of one. It's just him. But he does a phenomenal job. All of the technology, you're going to see a website that was put together. You'll see a timeline that we scroll through of our community engagement process that we've gone through for the past 4 years. All of that I take zero credit for and give Sam total credit for. The only thing I can take credit for is that he's here and he's employed in our district, because that's a pretty darn good thing. I'm going to try really hard not to steal our citizens committee thunder, other than to thank you guys. We have some prototype shirts that they're wearing. We only have 10 of them. It's the board's responsibility to either say yay or nay on our bond issue proposal. That won't happen tonight, okay? If you're thinking that the board's going to vote, this is just an informational session, not only for the audience here and our community, but for the board as well. But on August 21st, they'll actually have an opportunity to say yay or nay for this to be put on the November 6th ballot. But we do have some prototype shirts. I want to thank all of our Citizens Committee, anybody in the audience that came to any of our community engagements to get us feedback. Please know this: the decisions that were put as potential projects on the bond issue would not have been placed on there without everybody's feedback from the community engagement sessions. Right? We have had multiple opportunities, all right, and I'll go through that to talk to our community and listen to them. But I wanted to make sure I thank the Citizens Committee. A couple of things that I don't know if the Citizens Committee will highlight, but when you look at the proposal, you need to know this. You need to know that every single building will get work done on it. Okay? There'll be at least $700,000 that's spent on every single building through this bond issue project. And the main priority in every single building is to do exactly what we're doing right now at Fox High School, and that's the main entrances, to make sure that they're a safe entrance as you come in. You buzz in, you have a second buzzer system with the vestibule area where it can house people that are walking in. You can even sign your student in without having to even go into the actual building. People can get help without having to go into the actual building, just like we did at Ridgewood Middle School. That was actually the one that we tried out first. You have that going on here at Fox High School right now and Seckman High School. So every school would get that type of entrance and shatterproof glass as well. I also wanted to remind you, when we do our assessment of our district, we have $150 million in need in terms of our facility. That's a lot of work that needs to get done. Right? When we took on this chunk in this project, we wanted to take on projects that we knew needed to get done that could be done within a 3-year window. I also wanted to, and Sam, if you would toss up your timeline of events. When I mentioned earlier to you that we would be going through and grabbing our community's feedback, I wanted just to highlight this. I don't want anybody to feel like you haven't had a chance to voice your opinion, share your ideas, and share your thoughts with me or anyone on cabinet, anyone from the board. So we put a timeline together to show you the opportunities that we've had to reach out to us. Okay? So when I first became the superintendent in 2015, we sent out a survey. We had over 3,000 individuals that filled out that survey in our community, over 3,000. The theme that came back were 4 things. Safety and security was the number 1 concern. Facilities, technology, and financial stability. And it was ranked out in that order. Back in 2015, we did that survey. We decided we wanted to hear more from our community, so we went into a comprehensive school improvement planning process. In the comprehensive school improvement planning process, we heard a lot from our community in terms of feedback. One of the reasons why you see our expansion in terms of electives was based upon our comprehensive school improvement planning project. Our kids and our parents said, you know, if one school has Spanish, I think all 3 middle schools should have Spanish, and to get that consistency. We have offered several town hall meetings. You can see the dates are listed above, but we have about 6 town hall meetings that we've had from 2015 all the way through 2018 for community to get involved. We've had 2 community engagement sessions that took place when we went through our C-6 process, dating back to November 10th, 2015 and April 20th, 2016, just to hear what our community was saying about our wonderful school district. And then we have a subcommittee meeting that took place, and there were several of those, but we broke out that comprehensive school improvement planning and those community engagement groups into smaller subgroups. Right? We have given an opportunity to hear and listen to concerns, to items of interest, and to ways that we can improve as a school district. Finally, you may remember this, and actually not finally, but you may remember we wanted to do a professional survey as well. We did a community survey that we wrote, we put out, but we also brought in a company called Patron Insight, and we asked them to do a survey for us, and this was in January of 2017. We got our data back. And what this company does is it actually does phone calling rather than ask just for online. So it talks to people live and collects data. Through the phone calling, I think this is an important fact to mention to everybody. Through the phone calling, as you look at the top items: safety and security, facilities, and technology. So now 2 years have passed, the same theme from our parents and our community: safety and security, facilities, and technology. It's coming back over and over. I think we've done a pretty good job of addressing our technology needs, and I thank the board for their support on that with the Chromebooks that we've purchased. We've had some very large purchases of Chromebooks. Building our future and looking forward, should we move forward with a bond issue proposal or not? We had 2 different community engagement sessions where we reached out to our community on April 17th of 18 and May 10th of 18. And many of you, I recognize your faces because you were there too. All right, so we appreciate that. I really honestly believe that it's a vital time in our district. I'll make some comments at the end, but currently we have a debt service that's the lowest in Jefferson County at 39 cents. Our debt service is how we can pay off our bonds. We're at 39 cents. The Citizens Committee is going to talk a little bit about that, and I don't want to steal their thunder, but I definitely wanted to mention that. I really view this bond issue as covering not only safety and security, but I think when you look at the list of items on there, it will continue to provide opportunities for us to enhance our academics. I mean, when you look at improving our science labs, science classrooms, when you look at additions in terms of classrooms, it's going to have a major impact academically as well. With that being said, I had just a few key points I wanted to mention, but I really want to turn it over to Jeremy Long. Jeremy Long is a parent that has wanted to get involved at Fox Elementary School, and I can't thank Jeremy enough for his leadership on the Citizens Committee. He volunteered to do an introduction a couple of meetings ago, and he did such a good job at that introduction, he just keeps coming back for us, all right? So Jeremy, thank you very much, and at that, I turn it over to our Citizens Committee.
It's a great turnout. So my name's Jeremy Long. Thank you for that intro, Dr. Whipke. I've lived in Arnold for 10 years, and I have children that have been in the Fox School District for the last 5 years. 2 boys, 2 girls, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
Good luck.
Don't do that. So I have a vested interest as a father in making sure that they're attending a school that when they graduate, they're in a position to be successful, that they're on an even playing field with other students that go to other school districts, a very vested interest. So as part of community improvement initiatives, we got together as a group, myself and other members of the Citizens Committee, to try to figure out what we can do to help. And as part of that process, we began collaborating with the community. We began working with school district administration officials to figure out what we could do to make our school district better. And that's where Proposition S came into play. And so when we first started reviewing the issues at hand, initially we were seeking solutions. You know, to do that, I think you have to understand the problem as well. The proposal is to implement a bond issue to fund facilities upgrades for schools in our district. As you go through a video, I think you're going to see one thing. The problem is pretty clear. The teachers, the staff in the district are top-notch. If you talk to parents, I think they'll tell you that. The schools and the facilities themselves that the students go to, they're run down. They're in rough shape. Proposition S is what the Citizens Committee and really the community came up with as a solution to that problem, really the only viable solution that we were able to come up with. And the funds that Proposition S would deliver will help us make sure the schools are safer, they're more secure, they'll enable our students to have better resources, better curriculum that don't put them at a competitive disadvantage where they very well could be today. I think there's another school that we are going to talk about later on in the presentation, and I think their tax valuation, keep me honest, Doctor, is $1.22 right now. I think we're at 39 cents. We're asking to up that to 79 cents, right? A 40-cent increase. Probably not going to cut it in the long run, but will certainly help us relative to where we are now. If you're going to invest in something, if you're going to put money behind something, and I'll tell you, I was a skeptic going into the meetings. In fact, I had a meeting with Dr. Whipke to complain. And I left the meeting thinking, well, all right, I had these complaints. What am I going to actually do to help? I.e., let me get engaged and see what I can actually do. But when you look at the problem, if you're going to make an investment, you're going to spend money, put it into schools, put it into kids, and put it into education. Because I guarantee you're going to get a return on that investment. Whether it be directly, if you've got kids in the school, and that return could come whether you have kids in the school, and so you benefit there, and you have your kids going to a better school, or for those of you that may not, look around to real bad areas that you go to, and look at their schools. They're probably not in very good shape. You look in really good areas, they've got really good, up-to-date, modern, well-kept schools that you can be proud of. Those type of communities attract people that buy property. And the more people you get like that come into that community, if you're a property owner, you certainly could see an increase to your property value. So there's indirect benefits as well, even for those of you who may not have kids in the school district. So I want to show a video here. So Sam, if we could...
My name is Reagan Mullins. I'm going to be a senior at Fox High School next year. I'm really involved in Student Council, National Honor Society, and I attended NLA this past summer with 6 other students from the district. And I'm also involved in the District Student Advisory Council.
Fox C-6 School District maintains approximately 1.5 million square feet of building space. That's more than the size of Busch Stadium and Ballpark Village in downtown St. Louis. Nearly 60% of our space is over 40 years old, and about 17% was constructed over 60 years ago. While our schools have continued to serve new generations of students over the years, it is time to make essential upgrades that emphasize safety and security, accommodate 21st century learning, and keep our buildings in good working condition. Strong schools are not only good for students, they are the foundation of strong communities and help to attract new families, new businesses, and to grow property values. Fox High School opened in 1955. Its last major renovation to its front hall and commons area was nearly 14 years ago in 2004.
Hi, my name is Dr. Ryan Sherp. I am the principal of Fox Senior High School, and just wanting to share a little bit about some of the beautiful things that we have going on in the Fox School District, but also some of the struggles that we have here at Fox Senior High School. And I would have to say the number one issue that I have in my school, without question, is facilities. I have a school that is in some places really, really nice, and in other places it needs complete overhaul. But some areas that we really have concerns about, that I have concerns about, are our classrooms, our everyday classrooms where our kids are getting their instruction from 7:20 till 2:25 that are really in need of a lot of repair. Think about in your own home. If you're cold or you're hot, you're never totally comfortable. So whenever our kids are dealing with temperatures that are like 55 degrees, which we have had classrooms that were that cold this year, it's almost nearly impossible for them to concentrate at the level that they need to. And conversely, whenever it's over 80, it's hard to concentrate. And when you have windows that are in the shape that ours are in, that can't hold or retain heat or cool, your kids are not getting a level of comfort that they need to really focus heavily in classes.
Seckman High School opened in 1997. Its last major renovation was the addition of Third Wing in 2006, over a decade ago.
Scott, I'm the building principal at Seckman High School. I'm completing my third year as the building principal, and this is my 24th year in education, all within the Fox School District.
Many still refer to Seckman as the new high school, despite being over 2 decades old.
Well, it is the new high school, but the new high school is 21 years old. In some of the conversations I've had with parents, that's really been some of the idea that, it's the new school, but it's 21 years old. Our science labs are 21 years old. Our building, our infrastructure is 21 years old. So really, when the building opened and what was going on in education at the time, we fit right in. When you've got those 30 desks in a class and they're all nice, neat rows, we have had that and have served that well, that type of teaching for 21 years. But that's not where teaching's at these days.
In addition to comfort and learning, safety is also a concern. One area the district has focused on is improving our entrances.
Hello, my name is Jamie Cavato. I am the building principal here at Ridgewood Middle School. I am super glad that you are out here today to see our new state-of-the-art entrance that our community and our school board and our district central office supported for us to transition our 6th graders here this school year, and also to have an awesome security entrance to our building. Whenever we have parents or any individuals come out to our school, they buzz into a security system on the wall. There, our building secretary is able to greet them, to ask them why they are here, if they have a student in our building, and from there we are able to buzz them into a foyer that is all shatterproof glass, and all the doors in that foyer are also locked, so people cannot just walk into our foyer and then walk into our building, which is what our main office, all the exterior doors going out to the hallway are safe and secure, to where anyone who comes into our front office then are not out and about roaming the building. So I cannot thank our community enough for supporting this initiative with our 6th grade transition. We are extremely fortunate and blessed out here at Ridgewood to have one of the state-of-the-art entrances, and my hopes are, with the support of the community, all of our brothers and sisters buildings in the district can have something like that as well.
The district currently has 11 elementary schools. Many of these buildings have been retrofitted to add modern heating and cooling, but now suffer from a lack of efficiency and consistent climate control. Because of their age, some of these buildings have accessibility issues, making it more difficult to serve students with disabilities.
My name is Dr. Dustin Bain, and I am the principal of Merrimack Heights Elementary School. This is the end of my 3rd school year, and I'm so proud to be in the Fox School District. When students get off the bus, this might be, and we want it to be, the best place they've ever been. And so it starts from the outside, looking beautiful, being upkept. It's just like anybody's appearance, being professional and making sure that we put our best foot forward to stay competitive and to make sure that we are showing the love on the outside, and so it just guides right into the inside. So some of the things we struggle with are just basic things. You know, if you come right into our building and go right into a classroom, you're going to start looking for outlets and you're not going to find any. In most of our classrooms, there's 2 electrical outlets, one on one side of the room, one on the other. In this day and age, with the amount of technology we need to run, without the electricity and the capability to do that, that's not keeping up with the type of education our kids need to have these days. You know, as you go through our school, you look at our kitchen. Our kitchen serves about 400 breakfast plates every single day, and then we have almost 600 students here with early childhood. So getting all those kids through twice a day is a challenge when your kitchen is tiny and not really made for the amount of kids that we are serving. One of the challenges we have, we're in a unique situation, is that we're actually growing in the amount of kids coming here. I have staff in every nook and cranny of this school. And to be honest, it's not always the best setup for kids. And we make it our best, but our kids deserve better. Our kids deserve to have a space no matter where they're learning. We have special education teachers sharing rooms and having to make sure their schedules match up. And maybe sometimes those schedules aren't optimal for the classroom teacher. So we're really making sacrifices in the classroom based on the amount of space that we have.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Anderson, and I'm the principal at Clyde Hamrick Elementary. I've had the luxury, I guess you would call it, of starting out my teaching career here about 28 years ago, and then I've been here as a principal for 22. So I've seen a lot of changes occur at Clyde Hamrick Elementary, and really good changes. So there are some things we need to do to kind of keep up with the increased enrollment, with the great curricular direction that we're headed, and along with the great PD that we have. And we need to have some changes to our building and our grounds to help accommodate that. And when we have occupational therapy and physical therapy, the extra speech, this is where they service kids. And I will say that we've had a huge increase in the need for mental health professionals in the building. It's still not enough, but we have to be very careful about scheduling that because we don't have space for them to have private consultation with students.
I'm Mark Radovich. I'm the principal at Antonia Elementary School. We spend a lot of time in this building taking care of the building, a lot more than we would like to. And we get a lot done here. We put a lot of effort into this building to try to make it, the appearance, look as best we can. But you know, there's the behind the scenes things that we deal with on a regular basis. You have leaks that come into the building, leaks in our cafeteria, leaks in our basement, leaks in our classrooms. We have furnaces, air conditioning units going out weekly, something going out on something weekly, and people coming in from the maintenance department to work on that. You've got drinking fountains that work and that don't work, and you have pieces of equipment in the building that, like drinking fountains that don't work, that sit there and take up space. You have electrical needs, circuits that might break or that blow, and then all of a sudden we have to go flip the circuit, start that back up again, find out where we overloaded the electrical capacity and deal with that. And so those are a part of a typical week at Antonia Elementary School. And the staff and the students just work through it. We'll section off pieces of our cafeteria where we can't go because of the leak or the flooding. We'll deal with we can't have this plugged in at the same time as this plugged in over here. We'll deal with the heat or the chill from the cold without having the units working, and we'll move students to where they need to be moved or have them wear jackets. These are things that just happen on a regular basis at Antonia Elementary. But if we didn't have to spend the time on all of those things, just think of the added time we'd have for putting our efforts elsewhere.
I'm proud to be a student of the Fox School District because the teachers here have been a big influence on me. My sister and I have been students here since preschool, and my parents are both alumni of the district. I think if kids enjoy coming to school and if they feel safe and comfortable, they'll get more out of their education. I want everyone to enjoy school as much as I do. Your school is what you make of it, and it's really up to us to make this community what we want it to be.
Ready when you are.
Just as Reagan is proud to be a student here in the Fox School District, I'm incredibly honored to be your superintendent. I believe it's my job as superintendent to show our community what could be. It's the community's job to answer that back by letting us know what kind of district they want to have in their community and what kind of district they want their children to go to. I appreciate you taking the time to consider this bond initiative. Ryan, I know you're going to go next. I'm going to give just a little pause. Reagan Mullins is here, and I'm going to really embarrass her so she can turn bright red. Reagan is the one who obviously narrated that. Reagan, will you stand up and we give you a nice round of applause, please? Thank you for doing that for us. All right, Ryan, thank you.
All right, I'm Ryan Rowe. I'd first off just like to say I'm glad I don't have subtitles beneath where I'm speaking. I've got, this coming school year, I'll have all five of my children in the Fox School District. And not only that, but now that I've found myself with some free time, I've actually taken a job in the school district. So thank you. I mean, I'm greatly invested in this district and this community, and I fully support this bond issue. I get the pleasure of reading the ballot language here. So rather than just starting off with the legalese, I wanted to read a quote or present a quote that I found from a founding father that I greatly respect, Benjamin Franklin. And the quote is, "An investment in knowledge will pay the best interest." So with that being said, Proposition S is, shall the Board of Education of the Consolidated School District Number 6 of Jefferson County, Missouri, borrow money in the amount of $70 million for the purpose of paying costs of acquiring, constructing, renovating, furnishing, and equipping new and existing school sites, buildings, and related facilities, including but not limited to the safety and security improvements at all school buildings, building a new Antonia Elementary School to replace aging building, renovating science labs to support science in our curriculum, building Phase 1 replacement of classrooms at Fox High School, a new library at Seckman Middle School, a student commons area at Seckman's High School, and partial replacement of Merrimack Heights Elementary School, and various improvements to HVAC systems, roofing, paving, lighting, flooring, playgrounds, and kitchens, and issue general obligation bonds for the payment thereof. If this proposition is approved, the adjusted debt service levy of the school district is estimated to increase 40 cents per $100 of assessed valuation of real and personal property, from 39 cents to 79 cents per $100 of value of assessed valuation of real and personal property. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Jackie Ortman. My story really began in the Fox School District, where I met my high school sweetheart. We graduated. He graduated in 91. I graduated in 92, and we were married in 96. It was kind of funny. I still had to show him where the library was today. So it's a true story. And thank God for the big gym down there, because that's where we met. We have 6 children. We have the original 4, we like to call them, and we have 2 bonuses. We adopted our nieces 4 years ago, and if it weren't for Mr. Radonovich and the teachers at Antonia Elementary and Antonia Middle School and Mr. Willis, that transition would have been extremely difficult, even more so. And I can't thank them enough. Doug and we feel very privileged to raise our 6 children in this school district. It's where our story began. We are always supported by this community. We also have a business here, and I can't tell you how many high school classmates we have done work for or who have referred us. I look out in the crowd, and so many of us used to rule the school here, and now we're running it. So I think that's a testament to how strong this community is. We support our schools, we support our police officers, we support our community. We are a big, small town. And heaven help those who mess with our kids. And for some of you, might still be holding on to several years ago when somebody messed with our kids. And I'm not going to ask you to forgive. That's between you and the good Lord above. But I am going to ask you to let go. We need to move forward. We need to provide and support our community, and especially our children. I'm not going to ask you to forget, because we need to learn from the past. As we put this Citizens Committee together, one of the big things was trust. I have 5 teenagers and soon to be 21-year-old in my house. I know. And I tell them all the time.
Good luck with that, too.
Yeah. Where's he at? You just wait. 6, 7, 8, and 9 is pretty easy, let me tell you. When we put this together, one of the things that I tell my kids all the time is trust can be broken in 2 seconds flat. And it takes days, weeks, months, years to gain it back. One of the biggest things that we wanted to make sure we could gain back was the trust of this community. We insisted on a third party that would be handling the funds and that would be making sure that they were put to what they said. Every school is going to have a list. These funds are going to be put towards what we say they're going to be put towards, which are our buildings. They haven't completely decided on exactly who that third party is. There's several, and I think they're narrowing it down. But all of this will be available to you. And I challenge all of you to do your due diligence. And I want you to check this company out. And I want you to look at all of their information. And the Better Business Bureau, whatever avenues you want to take. But make sure you're informed and hold them accountable. The school district, the third party, the administration, they're not afraid of being held accountable. And that's our job. We have come so far in the last 3 years. What if I was to say that you had a curriculum budget of $50,000? I'm going to use Antonia Middle School because that's the school I'm representing today. And there's approximately, give or take, 50 teachers there, and approximately, give or take, 448 students. So if you take $50,000 of curriculum, and you separate that or divide that over the 50, that's $1,000 per teacher for curriculum. How many would say that's a pretty good spread? You could do a lot with that. It's also about $112 per student. Now let me tell you, that was spread across the whole district 4 years ago. Now, because of being fiscally responsible and making our money go as far as it possibly can, we have actually spent $1.2 million towards curriculum. The district has approximately 777 teachers, approximately 11,500 kids. So now we spend $1,544 per teacher for the entire district, which breaks down to about $104 per kid. I'm pretty proud of that. In the last 3 years, we have also increased the electives and advanced level courses. I can tell you right now, I have one that is going to be a junior. She, of course, has switched her major. Because of all of the classes she took at Seckman, she is still going to graduate on time. And she completely went into a different field. So those advanced level courses are important. Establish true middle schools. We have done a lot of work with our middle schools. Expansion of early childhood, and an APR rating that has consistently rose, with the year 2017 rating being at 98.9%. Now, I didn't know what APR rating was until I got into all of this stuff. So, annual performance report, which is a huge, huge deal. And 4 years ago, it was at 89%. So I, again, am very proud of that. Our community can afford this. Surrounding districts, including the Windsor School District, they have $1.31 debt service. $1.31. We have 39 cents. They are more than quadruple what Fox District is currently doing. With the bond issue, we will be at 79 cents, which is still almost half of what they're doing. Lindbergh, Dunklin, Rockwood, Northwest, we will actually we'll be right in the middle of all those districts. Right now, they are outspending us. Hillsboro's even at 94 cents. If you take an average household, now I took an average of somebody being able to sell their house for $235,000. Again, all of this stuff is on the website, so please check my facts, get on the website, make sure that you're informed. But for a house that could sell for $235,000, their average household increase would be $100 a year. That breaks down to $8.33 a month and $1.92 a week. I think our kids deserve that. We can keep competitive and rise to the top. It is very affordable, and with being fiscally responsible, we can make our money go a long, long way. We are at a crucial turning point in our district. Many of our school buildings need major repair and maintenance, some of which cannot wait, and our operating budget is used to go for those repairs, and they have to maintenance, not preventative. So how many of you guys out there have a nagging wife that if you would have done what she told you to 2 months ago, you wouldn't be replacing the AC, or you wouldn't have this big project going on right now? Raise your hand. That's what we're doing with our schools. We are waiting for the problems to happen. We can't be preventative right now, and we can't catch up. This bond will help us catch up. It'll help us get our buildings to where they need to be, mostly, and then we can put a comprehensive maintenance plan in place and be ahead of the game and be preventative and make our money go that much further. Our operating budget should be used for the more important things that impact our kids directly: technology, curriculum, and maintaining our class sizes. We need this bond. Our community is strong and they will support us. They already do. Fox C-6 is an amazing district. Let's keep it safe, strong, and smart for our children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren.
Good evening. Hello, everyone. My name is Heather Mullins, and my husband and I have 2 daughters in the district. Reagan's going to be a senior, and I can't start crying about that. And Reese will be in 7th grade, Fox Middle School next year. I wanted to touch base on some opportunities that we as a family have here in the district. My youngest daughter, Reese, went through the 6th grade transition last year. I admit my husband and I were a little skeptical about 6th graders being moved to the middle school. We had heard rumblings of this happening for a few years, but at the beginning of her 5th grade year, we were told 6th grade is officially moving to the middle school. Leaving Sherwood, a great learning opportunity with great teachers a year earlier than expected, was hard for Reese to swallow at first. But her experience has been amazing. The Fox Middle School staff and principals made the transition seamless. The 6th graders had their own wing, and several teachers who came in the transition ended up being some of Reese's favorites. The educational opportunities jumped to being able to take FACS, known as home economics to a lot of us, where she learned basic life skills of cooking, sewing, laundry. In addition, the middle school now offers multiple bands, choirs, music appreciation, several art classes, as well as business tech and STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and math. Spanish is also offered 6th through 8th grade now, with the opportunity to receive high school credit, which is really great. Just a wealth of opportunities for our students that would not have been offered had 6th grade been kept in the elementary school. When my oldest daughter, Reagan, was in middle school, FACS had been cut due to budget constraints. They were not offered STEM. They could not take Spanish until 8th grade. This is a great example to show how much has changed in 4 short years in this district. Reagan, my oldest daughter, was invited along with 6 other students from Fox and Seckman High School to attend National Leadership Academy in LA this past June in Denver, Colorado. She had the opportunity to learn with other students from all over the U.S. and hear motivational speakers such as John O'Leary, a burn victim, sharing his life story, and Tommy Spalding, a successful author who has been part of multiple high school programs over the years. She toured Columbine High School, where the horrific school shooting occurred. She got to hear from the principal, that was the principal at the time of the shooting, tell his story of a day that will be forever embedded into his memory. It was a 4-day event that Reagan will remember for a lifetime, and we thank the board and the district for the incredible experience. Where am I going with sharing all of these opportunities? These things, along with many more, can't and won't be possible if the funds aren't available. The district is not able to send kids to NLA if the roof is collapsing on buildings. We have buildings all over the district in disrepair that need attention. For example, there are schools with heating and air conditioning systems on the roofs that, again, there has to be hoses kept on them so they don't overheat. In addition to that, we have an elementary school in the district that is not ADA or handicap accessible. That means if a student breaks an arm or a leg, the principal has to carry them up and down the stairs. Keeping the district in a strong financial position is the right thing to do for our kids and for our future. And I hope you will support this publicly, as I assume that that's why you are all here. Thank you for your time and everything you do for our kids.
I hate seeing people cry. It makes me want to cry. Hi, my name's Stacy Grotius. I have 3 boys in the district. I have a freshman now at Seckman High School, and I have 2 boys that go to Simpson Elementary, a 5th grader and a 2nd grader. What I'm going to talk about is schools, our school district, but other schools as well, and community, and how they're not separate. We are one entity. Schools are the center of our communities. I didn't grow up here, but I do know a little history of it, and Arnold used to be a little farm town. And the leaders at that time knew that they needed certain institutions for this community to grow and to flourish. And those were bank, maybe some churches, businesses, but the one thing that every community needs to thrive and grow is a school. And not just any school, but a strong school that educates the next generation to run and build the community up so it can continue to grow and to flourish. So that little school that started, maybe somebody brought their slate there. I don't know how it started, but it's grown over the years. And there's been leaders that have come and gone, and they knew that the school, to be successful, had to transform in positive ways. And when the school transformed in positive ways, the community, in turn, transformed in a positive way. It's not separate. It's linked. Safe, strong schools lead to a strong community and strong property values. Take, for instance, Lindbergh. They have risen to be one of the best schools in the state. I don't remember how many years ago, but they were the #1 school district in the state. It is a locked school district, I would say, where there's really not any new building of new homes. The few that are being built, that might be built, once that lot is up for sale, it's gone. When Irma, who may be 80 years old and has lived in her house since 1962, decides to sell her house and she puts it on the market, she has multiple offers. Why? People want to go where a school district is strong. All of us who have children, we want the best for our kids. We don't want the second rate. We want the best. That's what's happening at Lindbergh. They are offering the best, so they have people jockeying for these homes. What happens then? There's a bidding war. What happens then? Your property value is going up, 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 up. Irma's ecstatic. She doesn't care that her house has never been renovated, and neither do the people that moved in. They walk into 1962 they walk into Irma's house, and they're like, I'll live in 1962 so my kids get the best education. That's what they want. Irma walks away with a fat pocket. Whoever lives there has moved into a home with a high property value. And why is that? It's not because of the banks in the community or the businesses or the churches. It might be, people may move there for churches, but it's mostly for the school. They moved there for the school and it impacted their property value. Another thing that comes with that, I don't know if you've been around the Lindbergh School District. They have done some amazing things to their buildings. My son wants to be a vet. I know if we went to Lindbergh, he would get the best labs, science labs available for him to have his dream come true. And I want that for my son. But we're not moving. This is our community, and we can have that here too. We just have to make the right decisions now and act now to make those things happen. We can have those property values that are fantastic. We can have all of those amenities to those schools so our children can get the best out of life. Because what happens when my son graduates from high school and goes to college? He is competing with that Lindbergh student. Do you think he's going to make it? If they have the best top, they're probably going to outshine him. I mean, maybe not because he's my son, but that's okay. Another thing that happens in community, and it's a funny thing, and this happens everywhere. You have your son or your daughter, they go through school. Every day you get to see what you reap with the school district. They come home, they're like, oh, look, I got an A on this paper, and you're seeing it every day. Your child's there. But when your child graduates, you may have some grandchildren in the school district, or you may not. And the further you're away from having that child in the school, the more disjointed you become with the school community. You feel like, no, that's not really my responsibility anymore. I don't have kids in the school. That's not my deal. But that is farther from the truth. Those who say it's not my community have to take a moment and look around what's going on. Investment in education is priceless to a community. Kids go in and they come out adults. They can come out productive adults, or they can come out non-productive adults. Productive adults come from safe, strong schools who have a higher graduation rate, with students continuing on to university, to trade school, to owning possibly their own local business. I grew up in the city. I can tell you, I went to private school. I didn't have all the opportunities because private school doesn't offer opportunities like a public school does. There are many, many more opportunities at a public school. I moved out here with my husband, who is an alumni of class of '93, Fox, and I was shocked to see how many people from my old neighborhood came out here, and they came out here because private school doesn't offer everything, and the schools in the city, they're not producing what we want for our children. Non-productive adults from lower income, possibly lower standard schools, they create adults who get into drugs and get involved in crime, teen pregnancy, living off welfare, government assistance. And I'm not saying that can't happen here. It can. But if you offer a higher education, the chances of that are less. The other thing that I found funny here, everywhere we go, my husband's like, oh, that's so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. I went to school with them. This is so-and-so. Oh, they own a business over there, blah, 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 blah. People here don't leave. They come here and they set up roots, and they've been here and they are staying here. They come back. So all those students, when they come back from university or trade school or come to start a business, they come here and they become, as I think it's Sesame Street, the people of our neighborhood. These are the people of your neighborhood. They're the doctors, the lawyers, police, firefighters, electricians, carpenters, business owners, teachers. I was astounded how many teachers have come from growing up here. Most importantly, if you think after your child's gone and that you don't have any connection to the school district anymore, politicians come. Our leaders today, these kids, they will take care of us. We have to invest in them. They are the ones who will run this city, this county, this state, who knows how far. It's not my problem. Everyone is connected. Schools and community are connected. Any individual truly interested in improving their community must contribute to improving their local school district. It's the only way. We were a farm town. It's grown. There's been some ups and downs. We've plateaued for quite some time, but in the last couple years, we're on the incline again. We want to continue to move upward to bigger and better things. Parents, we want this. We know how badly we want this for our kids. We want the best education for our kids. Teachers, these teachers work so hard. If we give them everything that they can, the sky's the limit. Students, they don't necessarily, my 7-year-old isn't like, oh, I want this, but he needs it. They need it. The community needs it. Leaders don't live in the past, but they strive for a better tomorrow by planning and taking action today. We need our school board to be leaders, to say yes, to vote yes to this bond. Please say yes. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Pam Cullen. We moved into this district 21 years ago. Thank you, Seckman High School, that I'm able to keep up with that. It was my 7th grade year. That year, we were at Seckman Middle School, and there was only 7th and 8th grade. We were one of the newer classes at Seckman High School, and I got to graduate from there, as many of you I see around here. At this time, I have 4 kids. 2 of them are in Antonia. One is going to be 2nd grade this year. One of them is going to be a kindergartner. I have another one that'll be joining them next year. And then I have one starting Seckman High School this year. Funny story with that, we talk a lot about starting high school. I went there. I should have a lot of information to tell him, but I don't. I can tell him about the science labs. They're about the same. Cafeteria's pretty close to the same. But whenever it comes to what's available to him, that wasn't there whenever we were there. We had advanced classes and you had regular classes, but there wasn't so many great levels of education available at that time that we continue to grow today. And even whenever it comes to extra classes for him to pick, I'm amazed by the options he has today because they weren't there whenever we were there because that wasn't the norm. In 2015, Dr. Whipke and the district began the process to get feedback from all of us in the district called the C-6 process, which he mentioned earlier. I joined in a lot of that because truthfully, I was one of them that didn't believe that they actually cared what we had to say. And I have to say, he has proven me wrong many, many times. And now I've been to many, many, many meetings with him and others in the district because they truly care of our opinions. They have had online feedbacks. They've had open meetings for everyone multiple times throughout the years because they want to know what the stakeholders have to say. They want to know what we want. He might be leading the district, but he will tell everybody, I've heard it many times, that this is our district and he works for us. And I have to say, he has proven that to me many times. There are presidential meetings throughout the school year, which is basically the PTOs within the district normally pick a person or the president or a few people to attend. Him and principals will discuss with us what's going on so that we can bring that back to our schools. So we are always in contact of what is going on. Within all of our meetings, the school district has been able to identify major needs in facilities, technology, and obviously safety. They have done so much to help with this already. Our curriculum is moving in the right direction. I was able to be a part of the curriculum meeting with many others, parents and community members, and we were on them hard to make sure that our kids were getting the appropriate curriculum. My son was at Antonia Middle School. At that time, the 6th grade hadn't officially moved over. So there was many questions on how does this curriculum affect us? So we are very happy that now everyone is on the same page with the 6th grade, and it makes it a lot easier for all of the schools. And I just want to say thank you to everyone that came last year to the community engagement meetings. We had 2 of them, and so many of you were there. This helped the district decide what we wanted done here. They didn't go through the schools and make their own checklist. Okay, the principals had very big checklists that they had ready for all of us. But as a community, we made those lists. The things that they are going to show, you guys made these lists. They didn't. The principals didn't do them personally. The community did for our kids, for our community. We will continue to be able to show the community what is being done in detail at all times so that we know that what the community wanted is what is being done, that it isn't a play on words, that this is really what is going to be done. And so again, I just want to thank you guys because of you, these upgrades will hopefully be done. And we hope that it is able to vote yes so that we can all then voice our opinions in November to also vote yes.
Hi, everybody. My name is Rodney Mullins. Some of you may know me as a very transparent, to the point person. So I get this part of the agenda for this evening. What I'm going to do is share with you some details about what has been talked about already this evening. So we went over the kind of the bond kind of verbiage, what you would see on the ballot. I'm going to share with you the details, things that you've seen pictures of. And so bear with me for a few minutes as I read through these details. And I ask for your attention just so you understand the impact of what we hopefully have the opportunity to vote on. And you'll see how this is going to change and improve the district. So I'm going to read. I apologize for looking down, but I think it's important that you understand and hear these exact details. The Fox C-6 district serves approximately 11,300 students, so 11,000, 11,500 in that neighborhood. The K-12 educational facilities total 1,500,000 square feet. Think about how big this district is. 11 elementary schools, 4 middle schools, 2 high schools, an insurance replacement value of $300 million. Something tragic happens tomorrow, $300 million to put back what we have today in the condition it's in. An ongoing investment in these facilities is required. Everybody saw the pictures. A lot of you live in the areas where your kids go to schools. You see it. We know it. This is a $70 million bond issue. It's to upgrade the facilities, as we've talked about. As Dr. Whipke referred in the initial CSIP and then the surveys, security is number one. We don't want to be a statistic. This community doesn't want to be a statistic. We need the improvements in the security for the buildings. That is the number one thing that's going to happen with this money. Improve energy efficient features such as LED lighting district-wide to lower energy costs. So we're paying ourselves back, right? We have less in electric bills because we're putting in new technology. Improved playground safety with new playgrounds at elementary schools. New science labs at middle schools and high schools, replacing the 21-year-old labs at Seckman. Paving deteriorated parking lots and drive lanes, specifically at Ridgewood Middle, Londell, along with a parking lot expansion at Clyde Hamrick. Flooring replacements at various buildings where flooring is excessively worn, including Rockport, Londell, and Seckman. Paint the gym and replace divider partition at Seckman Elementary. Modernize the kitchens at Fox Elementary, Rockport Elementary, and Merrimack Heights Elementary. Resolve wastewater compliance issues at Ridgewood Middle, Merrimack Heights Elementary, and the Seckman campus. Numerous HVAC improvements and or replacements at Fox Elementary, Fox Middle, Fox High, Rockport, Ridgewood, Guffey, Seckman Elementary, Seckman Middle, Seckman High School, Hodge Elementary, Hamrick. Think of the impact of that. Numerous roofing replacements, full or partial. Fox Elementary, Fox Middle, Fox High, Sherwood Elementary, Ridgewood Middle, Seckman Elementary, Hodge Elementary. Phase 1 replacement of Fox High by constructing a classroom wing to replace the current third wing classrooms. How many of you went to school in third wing? I did. It looks the same, doesn't it? I was here when this town was a farm town. I started school here in 1972. I graduated in 85. It still looks the same. Construct a larger replacement gym at Fox Elementary. Partial replacement of Merrimack Heights Elementary, including new cafeteria, kitchen, classrooms, replace the oldest portion of the building. Construct a commons area at Seckman High to accommodate student learning needs. Construct a new library at Seckman Middle and convert existing library space to classrooms. Construct a new Antonio Elementary, replacing the old building. So I don't know how many of you know, but that building's older than the district. And the district assumed that property, and that's how they were able to expand down in that area. And think of the growth that's gone on in that area in the last 20, 25 years. Construct a new track at Antonio Middle. So our current needs in the district are $150 million. The bond is just for $70 million. It's just to get things stabilized because, as some of the other parents talked about, it was forgotten for a long time. A plan outlining the project, spending allocations, is Sam, can you pull up the matrix? There's a matrix that was put together, and for me, visually, this shows the impact of everything that's going to be touched. So this is, if on the kind of the left-hand side, these are a list of all the schools, and those are the feeder schools. All right, so on the bottom of the list is an elementary, then to the middle, and to a high school. Look at all the X's on the left-hand side of that matrix. Those are the things that we have, as a community, have asked for. Safety, facilities, right? The things on the right, excuse me, but some may consider as fluff, right? New gym. Are those things that we absolutely need right now? Some of them, yes, but not every school. The safety, the security, the facilities, we need that right now. The Board of Education, they're here tonight listening to all of this detail, listening to support from the community, asking for their support to make sure this gets put on the ballot. Again, they're not going to vote tonight, but they are going to vote August 21st at the next meeting. A 4/7 voter approval is required for this ballot measure. So it's a pretty good chunk of people that got to get out and vote and support it if we get it to the ballot. So it takes all of us talking to everybody, explaining the facts, sharing these details of what the money's going for. And then the most important thing for me personally, and I was one as well that was apprehensive in the beginning, was you can't just vote for a bond issue and say we're going to take some money and we're going to do things with it. What sold me to get involved was there's going to be a third party involved, right? There's checks and balances in place for this money. And the money is earmarked for specific projects that I just went through. Once those projects are finalized with the construction company, the funds will be released from this third party. It's not you, it's not me, it's not the school board, it's not the administration, it's all of us, and we're all being audited, watched, and it's being cared for by a third party. It's a check and balance, it's being done the right way. And that should give comfort to everybody, right? There's no opportunity to fail this time. Right? Let's see. So I think that's just about it. I want to say thank you to the school board for your personal investment, because as many of you know, they run for election. They spend personal resources to be able to sit up there and make decisions and do what's right for our kids. I expect that you'll do what's right for our kids in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Hey, Sam. I know you're right there. Why don't we do this, right? I think we've given them a great picture. I think they've seen and heard from our community that there may be some out there that want even more specific detail. I know that we had some of our citizens committee, but I'm watching the clock and I want to monitor and be respectful of everybody's time. Can you just introduce this website? And so if you know, you're a parent and you're sitting out there and you want to say, hey, I want to see specifically my kid's feeder pattern. All right, Sam has put together this website, and he just go through it briefly for us, Sam, so people can see how to access it, get on it, and then really dive into it. And everything that Rodney shared with you tonight is on Board Docs. So you can get on Board Docs and you can see the attachments and you can go through it. How many have already done that? Been on board docs? All right, my principals better raise their hand, right? They're like, hey, what's going on? There one correction that, and Rodney, I'm sorry I didn't let you know this, but one correction to what Rodney had said is we really are looking at the allocation. We're really looking at what we can and can't do. And we're making a proposal here we looked at Seckman Elementary's gym. We looked at trying to do some renovations to that gym. That's got that partition that's fallen apart in that gym. We're gonna work at trying to construct a new gymnasium for that building at Seckman Elementary School. The thought process is to be 100% transparent that's one of our schools that we really need some major renovation eventually to take place. But if we can get a gym there, we could build around that gym with some of the renovations for later. And I didn't let you know that, Rodney, and so I apologize on that front. But Sam, if you could do us a big favor for the community that's here, may save them a little bit of time. I know they got places to be, but I really want you to do your due diligence to go through this. And then I have a few words I want to say about the Citizens Committee before you're done.
Absolutely. Sounds good. So I just want to give you a quick overview of this website, and this will be live as a link on our district website after tonight's meeting. So as soon as you're leaving here today, I'm going to make sure that this is available right there on the front page. It'll say Proposition S, so you can go through all this information on your own, at your own time, share it with people who have questions, people who couldn't make it here tonight. So what this does is just kind of offer at first an overview of everything that we've talked about this evening, and then the more information you want, the deeper you can dig into this. There's links that will split off, and you can go and really see a lot of detailed information. But if you want just a quick glance at it, you can just skim through it, and there's a lot of information that way as well. So it's designed to give you as much information as you want to absorb at any one time. So that's kind of how it's built to you. So at the beginning, there's just kind of an introduction, again, talking about what Proposition S is, what it means. That community engagement timeline that we showed earlier when Dr. Whipke talked about all the work, there's a link to that as well. Then we also have this section called Our Commitment. This is where we really review all of our major goals and priorities in terms of doing this the right way. We want it to be student-centered. We want it to be affordable and sensible for our community. It's going to be fiscally responsible. I know Jackie mentioned, third party. Rodney reiterated third party holding on to the funds. So there's information about that. Secure facilities, safety and security being a highlight. But you'll see some of those have links underneath them that you can go and look at presentations that we've shown to the community before, information and data that reinforces what we've shared sort of generally, so you can dig into that information as much as possible and as much as you want. We have a copy of the video, so you can go and rewatch that and see what our facilities are like right now. These are the major areas that we knew we needed to focus on with a bond issue like this, safety and security obviously being number one, but those are all areas that need to be addressed and will be addressed. Then toward the end of this page, you have a column that has every building in the district. And each one of those pages actually splits off to the specific plan that you can expect for that building. And so, to save some time, I won't click through any of those, but you can do that. Each page will have a snapshot of what that building is getting.
Hey, Sam,
Yep.
can you just click on Antonia Elementary?
John, if you'll help me out, yeah.
If you just click on that so they can see what you're talking
Sure.
about. Not see my ugly mug in the middle, but see what...
Now we know why he wants
Yeah, exactly.
So this page is pretty similar. It's set up and you'll be able to scroll through, get projects at a glance. The further you scroll, the more information you get about those projects. And so, John, if you keep scrolling, there's pictures where you can see some of the areas of need and then some of the rationale, like at Antonia Elementary School, rebuilding that building because there's a lot of need. That's why this one in particular, there's a lot of scrolling because there's a lot of examples of things that need to be worked on. When you get to the very end of this page, and it'll probably take John a second to get there, you actually get links directly to the other schools in the feeder pathway for Antonia Elementary School. So if you know that you've got a kiddo that's coming up that's going to go to Antonia Middle School in a couple of years, you can see what changes are going to happen there and at Seckman High School later on down the line. So that's how each of those pages is set up. And you can get, like I said, kind of into the weeds, get as much detail and information as you need about your specific school, the one that is going to serve your children, and the schools that are going to serve your children as they sort of matriculate through their education at Fox C-6. If you go back to the main website, the other thing that I have at the very bottom of the page is a document that is sort of a written up version of what Rodney pointed out earlier, where by middle school feeder pathway, you can see a one-page look at, okay, here's what every school building in that pathway is slated to get as a part of this ballot initiative. So all that information is there. It'll be on the website. And then we, of course, if you have questions, follow up, all of us here are available to answer those questions as we keep moving forward in this process. Thank you.
I want the Citizens Committee, if you would, just stand up for us. All right. Jeremy had some quotes. Jeremy's going to finish things up because I want a parent to finish it, not me. And he has some closing thoughts. But I will tell you that these people are awesome. All right. They do challenge me. They do hold me accountable. I stood in front of the community, and when I took the position as superintendent, I asked you to hold me accountable. All right, I shared a book called Leaders Eat Last, and I asked you to hold me accountable. All right, what we're saying we're going to get done, we're going to get done. We've tried to make it as user-friendly as possible so that you could really see it and look at it, examine it. I really like what Jackie said. From the standpoint that Jackie said, study it, learn, ask questions. All right? We want to know what those questions are because hopefully we have the answer, but if we don't, we're going to go get it, and it makes us better. We don't mind emails with questions or calling us to ask us, what was the thought process here? I do encourage you to note this, right? That when you look at these projects, and people have said $70 million, and $70 million, it's hard to even imagine what $70 million, I guess LeBron James can imagine, right? I mean, $70 million. All right, it's hard to imagine, but the thing I want you to keep in mind is what was stated about the debt service. We're not asking to build Taj Mahals here. What we're asking to do is put our kids in quality facilities to help their learning. I said to you about safety. Yes. Major importance, but I'm also talking about academics as well. We want to put our kids in an academic environment conducive to learning at the most highest possible level, no matter who they are, no matter what level they're at. We expect all of our kids to learn at high levels. We want to provide facilities to allow that to happen. Safety and security, academic focus, and then taking care of some of our aging buildings. Right? We've got bricks falling off of buildings. All right? We need you. All right? We need our community. Right? And as I said in that video, I don't really believe it's my job to twist anybody's arm. As superintendent, I think it's my job to provide you all with an opportunity. All right? It's your call on what school and what district you want to have in this community. I want to thank the Citizens Committee because they're spending a ton of time. I have been texting Jackie and calling her. She finally sent me an email and said, "Did you put me in charge of this committee?" No. All right? I didn't. All right? But, all right, she's done a great job, and everybody up here has done a phenomenal job. I can't thank everybody enough. And it does show a true testament of the belief. You know, we always talk about fear and belief in our district. The belief that these folks have. They're not going to let fear control them. They're going to let belief follow them. All right? And I thank you for your belief in me. I thank you for your belief in our district and all your time and energy and work. Again, it's not going to a vote today. It will go back on August 21st, and if the board so feels it appropriate to support this, you think you worked hard enough. Right? All right, get ready, right? I'm going to let Jeremy does such a good job. He's so articulate. I'm going to let him say a few final thoughts, and then we will take a break, all right? And then if you guys, I usually say this during the school year, and I'm like, I'm sure the kids that are here have homework, but that's not true, all right? But I'm sure they're reading extra to get ready, all right, to come back. So we'll give everybody a break. Let's let Jeremy finish some closing thoughts.
I'll be brief. It's a lot of information to digest. The one thing that I hope everyone can see is this isn't some fly-by-night, shoot from the hip, throw a dart at a board type of a proposal. There's a lot of time, energy, and effort spent by the Citizens Committee and the community too, reviewing the options and picking the right solution. I think you can see with the passion of the Fox Citizens Committee and the passion for everyone in the audience right now, if you look at the turnout here today, as a citizen of Arnold, as a citizen of the Fox School District with students here, it's a privilege to be part of this group. I would just ask formally right now, Board of Education, on behalf of the Fox C-6 Citizens Committee, we request you to put Proposition S on the ballot for a vote, so that come November, the voices of everyone in this group here and the community at large can let their voices be heard. And I'll just close by saying I hope that as you've heard everyone talk and we really see the passion that goes along with this, that everyone sees this is much bigger than a bond issue. It goes really to the question of what type of a community and what type of a district do you want to have? And that's a question the school administrators can't answer. Because they can't answer is why they haven't been driving it. This has been probably one of the first and only community-inspired, community-driven efforts to get funding to make our schools and district a better place. And I think Dr. Whipke said it best, we're not building escalators. We want to put our kids in a position where they can be successful, where they are not at a competitive disadvantage. I won't throw math at you again, you already heard it. But you can see pretty clearly that if this doesn't happen, if it doesn't get on the ballot, if the community doesn't let their voices be heard, our kids, if you've got kids in this district, we will fall behind. We will be at a competitive disadvantage. There is no debate about that. Do you want that? That's really the question. The bond issue is supplementary to that question. That's the solution to that problem. We think we've found the best, most realistic, reasonable option. And we're asking for the board to put it on the ballot for a vote, and when that happens, we'll be asking for your help in supporting that effort. Thank you.
Thank you very much for all your information, and thank you for your time and effort in putting this together and presenting it to us. We'll have about a 5-minute break in case you guys want to leave, and we'll resume our meeting shortly.
Oh, the absentee ballots, because Kowski's losing. The absentee ballots in the 97th Ward Phil's winning. In St. Louis County. Boy, well, Lincoln's got 7, Elizabeth's got 8, and he's got 9. That's a good indication.
If we could have everybody be seated, please. We're getting ready to resume our meeting. I was going to get one That's got
that's YouTube. It's how you pronounce it. And it's not something anybody types. Because there were. So that's not what he said? Because it didn't make any sense. I thought, what's the baby saying? If they don't understand, it's like talking. Have you ever tried to do a visual when
Audio.
you talk? And it turns out crazy.
Yeah. I try not to do that.
I don't.
Just going on record, that was the longest agenda item we've ever had. So.
It's going to be just a few more minutes, but while we're waiting, I'd like to thank our boys in the back here for all their work and effort. I think we put them pretty much through a big role tonight. They've earned their money, I'll say that. Thank you very much for your help. We're ready to continue our open session. 4.2, staff separations at will employees. Dr. Brock.
I have attached a list of employees who have separated since our last board meeting for your information.
We don't have to vote anything. 4.3, curriculum update. Mr. Fitzpatrick.
So in the consent agenda this evening, there are several items for purchase for curriculum, and I just wanted to give you a brief overview of what they are in case you wanted to ask any questions. The first item is reading intervention support for Antonia Elementary and Seckman Elementary. Due to a change in federal law, we can now provide the same resources that for those two schools that were provided through Title I funds before. So we're adding leveled literacy intervention to Antonia Elementary and Seckman Elementary because of what has been a very successful program in our 9 other schools. There's also 4 items for electronic resources, the Discovery Ed Tech Book as a supplementary resource for social studies, Gale Student Resources and Opposing Viewpoints for high school research database, IXL Math, which is an online math practice program for all of our middle schools, and an item for Mathia X, which is an online software program that integrates with our physical curriculum materials as a pilot for Fox Middle School. And then the last item is math professional development contract with Carnegie Learning to continue the math coaching professional development that we had last year. So that's the information about those items that are included in the consent agenda.
5.1, employee influenza vaccinations. Mr. Brazil.
This is a bid award for flu vaccination clinic on site at our school buildings for staff. We went out for bid. Low bid came in from Deerbergs. Mercy also bid. We recommend that you award this to Deerbergs for the flu clinic vaccinations. The price is $25 per vaccination, and the fees will be assessed against our self-insurance fund because it really is qualifying under our health insurance program.
I'll make a motion for the employee vaccinations.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion passed. 5.2, 2018-2019 out-of-district student transfers. Mr. Brazil.
By policy, we approve the out-of-district student transfers. There is a list of those attached to the agenda item. All of them are students or children of staff members, and we allow that by policy per the board's discretion, so we seek your vote approving that.
I'll make a motion for the out-of-district student transfers.
Second. All in favor?
Yes.
Question.
Sure. Mr. Shalhoub?
You know, I guess I get worried when we publish a list that has the names of students and what schools they come from. My instincts tell me that there's security risk associated with that. Is that something that we have to do, or do we have to have that information available to the community? I know, having lived through many issues involving situations where there were custody issues and things like that, I would get calls for people hunting for kids, and having that information available, especially by student name, I just worry about that. Is there any other way that we can do that without listing the names of the students? And I think, according to FERPA, actually we could list the names of every student in the school district. I think we have legal authority to do that. But I think we have to make that information available, but I'm not so sure that we have to publish that information. And I know staff get a little uncomfortable with that. I don't know. Is anybody else in?
Well, I was thinking about that today, and I kind of checked on FERPA, and from what my understanding is that you can make directory information available, but you also have to let the parents know about it, so they have the option to request for it not to be made public if they choose to. So you can say, like, I don't want my name, my child's name listed in this directory or whatever, or publicly listed somewhere, is how I read the information. Now, again, depending on what thing you look at, I guess there could be something somewhere else that said something different, but the information I pulled up that's said directory information could be made public, but the parents have to be informed so they have the right to say, I don't want my student information listed.
Any other questions or discussions?
Yes, Carol? I think we need to take the questions under advisement for next year and evaluate that.
I think Scott still has it.
Is this a perk that's available to all employees or only certified staff? All employees. Okay. Thank you.
I would agree with what John said. I appreciate everybody's comments. We'll take it back to cabinet, and if we need to look at alternative options, I think we should do it.
Okay, all in favor of approving the motion?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. 5.3, out-of-town travel. Mr. Fitzpatrick.
We're asking the board to approve professional development travel requests for JP Presevento and Robin Green to travel to Project-Based Learning Virginia Institute in Midlothian, Virginia, at a cost to the district of $510. The total cost of attending this conference is actually $4,510, but they applied for and received a grant from the Innovative Technology Education Fund to cover $4,000 of the cost.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Any questions? Motion carried. 6.1, consent agenda items 6.2 through 6.12. Mr. Fitzpatrick and Dr. Brock.
We're asking the board's approval for all attached purchases, hires, stipends, and modifications.
Is that it? Dr. Brock, did you have anything to add? Okay. Motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Yes.
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 Opposed? 7.1, second reading and adoption of policy IGBD at-risk students. Dr. Brock.
We are asking the board to accept these two policies for a second reading and adoption. They were presented for a first reading at our July 24th meeting.
Have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Okay, I have a,
Opposed?
Wait.
Questions, comments?
I had a question,
Uh,
and it was just a small one. I noticed on the routing for these, I just thought there should be additional groups that maybe it should be specifically routed to, and that would be on both, especially the suicide awareness and prevention, but the gifted and special ed department, and possibly even health services, just for consideration. I'm just in the side, that those students seem to be at higher risk for incident of that, and so maybe that should be, those departments should be made specifically aware of that.
Thank you. I noted that on these policies. I'll take care of that.
Mr. Krupa, did you have a question or comment?
No, I just want to make sure you acknowledge that.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. 7.2,
We are asking the board to accept this list of policies for a first reading. All of the policies are attached along with rationale, either in the text on board docs or in the text of the attachments themselves, explaining any changes and the rationale for those changes. And we would bring these policies for a second reading and adoption at our August 21st meeting.
have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Questions or comments? All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? 7.3, first reading, a policy to rescind KBA Public's right to know. Dr. Brock.
This is a recommendation from MSBA to rescind this policy. We are asking the board to accept this for a first reading, and it would be taken for a vote and approval on the August 21st meeting.
Have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Questions or comments? All in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Motion carried. 8.1, board reports.
Quickly, I'd like to thank the Citizens Committee. Your efforts are very much appreciated. Thank you for all the time and energy that you've put into the presentation this evening. Our Back to School Expo, which was last Friday, Sue Belleville, elementary counselors, food service. We had just had so many people thrown on that. It was a great success. We had between 450 and 500 attend that, and the response was overwhelmingly positive to that. Just a quick reminder, Monday, August 13th, open house for elementary is 5:30 to 7:30, and our early childhood is 4:30 to 6:30. Thank you.
I'd like to also thank the Citizens Committee and all the parents that spoke tonight. You know, there are moments in your life that you always remember. And I have to say, for me personally, tonight was one of those. I will never forget tonight because of the stories that each of you shared. You could feel it from the heart. Mrs. Mullins, get the Kleenex out. Like, you got me there. But this is what it's all about, right? And someone had, I believe it was Jeremy, and he said that this is an investment in schools, in kids, and the community. And that's what it's all about. So from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you guys for believing in not only the kids, but believing in the community. So thank you.
I'll go ahead and thank everybody again for all their investment in the community and for everybody showing up. I do want to say, to me, the other thing that was so good to hear, because I believe this with all of my heart, is that we have the best staff around in the area, all the staff. I have worked at other school districts. Unlike a lot of other people in this room, I didn't grow up here, I didn't go to school here, and I have worked other places. And I have never seen a more dedicated group of staff, teachers, support staff, everyone, than at the Fox District. People go above and beyond all the time, and they pitch in when there's controversies and issues. I can remember when we had fires in buildings and people had to share rooms, and when Simpson wasn't ready and we had to farm kids out. I mean, people make it work. And in connection with that, to me, related to the bond, one of the important things that I feel is important, if the bond passes, my understanding is that the $3 million a year that we've been taking out of operating funds to maintain buildings will go into the fund balance. I would like to advocate that go toward instruction, lowering class size, and trying to get staff some measure of a raise so that they can at least have an adjustment for the cost of living or something. So I'm just going to say that. I really appreciate it. I also went to the Back to School Expo. There were a lot of people there. There were displays. They had back to school supplies for kids. Food service that was there so they could get free and reduced lunches, learn how things work. Kids could even get shots. One thing that I noticed, a lot of people came with their whole families, and you know, they're coming because they're kindergarten through 5th grade, and they had little kids there. But we didn't have anybody from building blocks. So if this is going to be an annual event, that might be a good thing to do, so that, because we're wanting to build the preschool. So anyway, thank you.
I'm sure we'll all do it, but I want to thank the Citizens Committee as well as all the teachers and staff members, community members that came. 5 years ago, several of us were talking in a restaurant, and we thought something was possible. So I stood up and I attempted to make a difference. And I think you see that because some of the board members that were in place at that time, we were able to turn this district around. And I appreciate that you guys are doing it for the same amount of pay that the board members get. It's hard to be a volunteer. It's hard to not know whether or not what you're working hard for is actually going to make it. It's hard to know whether or not you can actually even make a difference. So I appreciate everybody that's doing that. We all know it's very hard work, and when we finish this up and we actually get this thing passed, you guys will have done a great thing for this community. Thanks.
I'll reiterate, thank you for everybody. You guys did a great job speaking, and I agree with everything that Steve just said. That's it.
School starts in a few days, and we've had a lot of construction work at all the school buildings throughout the district, and we're trying to wrap it up. Most of it will be wrapped up in time for the start of school, but it's been a lot of really good work on our systems that are within the buildings to make them more comfortable this coming year. No other report.
Thank you to the Citizens Committee and to everybody who showed up tonight. It was really encouraging to see so many people here for this. And it's really uplifting. I think that every time we have a community event or something that's really important to the committee, I'm always impressed by how many people come out and show support. And so that's just really moving to me.
Thank you to the Citizens Committee. It's always exciting to me when people talk about how great our curriculum is. I think we have a fantastic curriculum, but it's amazing to hear members of the community talking about it that way. It's very, I think our teachers do amazing things for kids, and we want to put the right tools in their hands to do that. I also want to just mention that I got to work for the past 3 days with our 40 new teachers coming in with our new teacher orientation, and they are an amazing group of people. It's really remarkable, the people who want to come and work here and how excited they are about being here and working here, and that's really exciting. And I want to give a special thank you to the maintenance department, not just today when they fix the air conditioning again, but for this whole summer. They've done amazing work to make spaces available for us to do professional development while in the process of getting school ready to be open and ready to start in a couple of days. And so thank you again.
Having been in Dr. Whippy's shoes in this kind of situation more than once in my life, I know one thing for certain, and that is our parents and our teaching staff are the first line of defense of getting any kind of issue passed. And if you don't have that crowd with you, then your chances of getting anything done are slim to none. And it's nice to see that we've got this coalition. I do have some questions, though, that I want to make sure, because I think Mr. Mullins said something that I think is really important, and that is that he wants all the facts out there. And so I just want some clarification on a few things. Our current levy is $4.55, is that correct?
Our 2017 levy was $4.55.
Now, am I reading that wrong in the I looked at the DESI website, and I thought it said $4.65.
No, it's $4.55.
On the 17 levy. Not
on 2017. 2018 has not been set.
2018, 2019, okay.
Yeah, I'm stating calendar years because we state tax rates by calendar year.
Okay, 16 and 17 must have been 465 then, unless DESI's information isn't
That
correct.
would be correct.
That would be correct.
Yeah.
And so it's gone down more than 10 cents in that time.
There was, odd numbered years are reassessment years. There was a significant upward adjustment in assessed values in 2017.
And so the Hancock...
And the Hancock Amendment pushed the rate down by around 10 cents.
Okay.
So our 2017 rate was $4.55. I expect our rate for 2018 will drop about 2 or 3 cents. And then we'll have reassessment in 19. By the time reassessment, if this election were to happen in November and it be approved, the first time it would apply would be in the taxes due December 31st of 2019.
Okay, so no one will see a tax increase on this December's bill?
That is correct.
Okay.
So in 2019 with reassessment, I expect the rate to push down further. So there's our chances of, our chances of staying under $5 are absolute.
That's good. What is our bonding capacity right now? I estimated it at being about $140 million.
Our statutory limits?
Yeah, right.
I'd have to look that up.
How much money do we have bonded right now? How much are we indebted for right now?
We have 2 forms of debt. Our general obligation debt, which is Fund 3 debt, is around $32 million. And we have about a similar amount in Fund 4 debt, which is lease purchase or leasehold revenue.
That doesn't come under debt service, does it not?
It does not come
okay,
under
right.
debt service.
So we only have about $30 million?
Yes.
So this will take us up to $100 million. So we're not going to max out our credit card with this?
No, sir.
Okay, one other thing, the matrix that you put together I thought was a great matrix. I guess one of the things that I worry about is that there wasn't much in there about infrastructure in some of the buildings. For example, Fox Elementary is a very old school. Fox Junior High is a very old school. Now, I know the plumbing under those buildings is probably in trouble. And have we done an analysis of the structures and their existing conditions to make sure that we're I'd hate to do a lot of cosmetic things and then turn around and have to break it all up because we have plumbing underneath the floor that's coming apart, are the infrastructure relative to electricity and things like that. For example, Fox Elementary is, what, 5 or 6 years older than Merrimack Heights. And so I worry about that.
You know, as the technology aspect and its effect on electrical systems is kind of interesting in that as we were putting in labs, or as many districts put in labs, the demands for electricity grew tremendously. But as we go back to Chromebooks and things and wireless devices, it's actually falling dramatically today. So our electrical needs are not, the pressure on growing electrical systems has declined greatly. Now, a school like Merrimack Heights still has shortfalls as far as electrical needs, and it's something we need to evaluate. We put some significant dollars in there for that particular building because it's got several shortfalls. You know, the kitchen's way too small. There's a variety of problems over there. As far as the plumbing of the two buildings you mentioned, Fox Middle, when we did improvements to that front end of that, the oldest part of the building for the 6th grade center, we went through the plumbing and made numerous upgrades in there. And the plumbing in that part of the building is in very good shape. The elementary school, we need to take further evaluations on.
Rodney, now you were talking about being in the wing down at the high school. Well, I was down in the high school the other day, and I stood on an asbestos tile that I stood on in 1966. So I've got you beat on that one. Okay. One of my concerns is I know we still have a lot of asbestos in our buildings. Is there any consideration in this for taking care of some of those asbestos issues? Well, I would hope that all that tile would be taken out in this project.
Well, there is asbestos tile in a variety of places throughout the district. There's also sometimes there's hot mastic under tile that's not asbestos. There's asbestos wraps on pipes. There's asbestos throughout the district. All of that gets inspected on a regular basis, and there's annual reporting and evaluation of that. None of it is believed to be friable or presenting a public hazard. We believe it's all stable, but at some point it does become an issue. The proposal within this bond issue is to begin replacing Fox High School, starting with the third wing, building a wing that replaces third wing so the third wing can be torn down. In that demolition process, obviously that asbestos floor tile is gone, and it's certainly not going to be installed in the new construction. It's a very expensive process today. It's highly regulated today, and tearing it up in small pieces gets just outlandishly expensive. Plus the timelines that are associated with that make it extremely difficult for us to demolish or do asbestos floor tile abatements even within a summer. It has really become awkward to do that. So it's an ongoing challenge for us. But removing stable floor tile doesn't necessarily get us anywhere.
Well, except I was in a home ec room down there, and I had the same problem up at Fox Elementary. I called it the calico classrooms.
Yes.
Because we had every kind of tile you can imagine in there that would replace that other stuff.
Yes, sir.
I would hate to see us spend $13 million down at Fox High School and not have that problem mitigated some way.
Well, I think the best way to mitigate it at Fox High, and again, I think as we move forward, there's going to have to be a lot of additional input and analysis of how we proceed. I would propose that we replace Fox High School's classroom wings in a 3-phase process. And if we were to build phase 1 and demolish this third wing, build phase 2, demolish the second wing, build phase 3 and demolish first wing, all of that gets taken care of in that demolition process, which can avoid just a strict asbestos abatement process. Now, the criteria behind that, or the ability to complete that, means additional funding and continuity of planning that yields that outcome. And I
Have we
doubt
thought
that I
about
will
putting
be-
an entire master plan together for some of these things? This has always been, when I was superintendent, this was a concern. I know our facilities were in trouble, and you can only do so much.
There needs to be master plans, and there needs to be commitment to completing those plans. I would agree with that.
How many, our bond retirement, what does that look like over the next 10 years?
We'll make some nice dents in that, but we're not going to have, this particular $70 million bond issue relies partly on the available capacity we have from in our existing debt limits, our debt rate. We're adding to that, so we're eating up that capacity in full for a period of time. It'll be another 10 years before we have significant availability within that new debt service levy for additional debt. And the community is going to have to talk about that.
Okay. I had a number of questions. One of the things I think it's important, though, I think, you don't want your community to, you need to be upfront with all the information that you can be upfront with. And so I think if we feel like that,
You're not alone in that thought.
trust me, anything that we don't reveal, that is revealed in the process, we will pay for that. I can tell you that. That's a trust thing that we lose. So one of the things I think it's really important in all our information, we need to make people understand that on their real estate taxes and their personal property taxes, that this 40-cent increase is going to take our levy from $4.55 or $4.53 up to $4.93. So people know that up front, because there's going to be a sticker shock associated with that. I can tell you that. And we need to talk about that soon so people can get over that, because they're going to struggle with that part of it. And so I would hope that in our information, and I agree with Mr. Mullins on this, you need to be upfront with all that information, because if you withhold that information, you will lose the game. I can tell you that.
There are specific presentations about assessed value and tax rate within the website presentation.
The other thing, there's one other thing that I think people need to be aware of. I know both you and Dr. Whippy came from districts in St. Louis County. And there's a big difference between St. Louis County funding and our funding. And that difference is what percentage of money comes from the local tax levy. I know at Afton, I think it was close to 85% of your money came from local tax levies. The significance of that is that money is pretty stable coming in. You can pretty well count on that money coming in all the time. State money, on the other hand, not so much. I went through a situation where we had a reserve of like $25 million, and within 2 years we got state funding cut by $10 million. Now, fortunately, our levy at that time was $3.25, and we were one of the lowest tax levies in the region at that time. Had we not had room to grow in that particular area, and had we not had a community that has always come through when the chips are down, we've never had a situation where this community hasn't helped us when we really needed help. So the thing that I get concerned about, if we get to 495, and in 2 years we have another experience like we had in 2004, I can tell you, had I not been able to raise the levy, we would have had to reduce staff probably by 200, and we would have had class sizes just excel. And so those are all things that the committee needs to be aware of too, because we're a little different than St. Louis County in that regard. If state money was really stable, we wouldn't have such a problem. About a half of our money comes from the state. So that's something that we need to be cognizant of as we make this decision. Thanks for all the good information, John. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Oh, I'm kind of talking out of order, but I just thought of something when you were going through all the buildings. I didn't see anything for the service center or central office or bridges. Do they not have any needs specifically? You know, I didn't know, one thing I immediately thought of with the early childhood center, the playground there is in the middle of the bus lot, and that's always bothered me from when we first did it. And I don't know what other solution there is, but I didn't know if there were needs that those buildings are going to have that haven't been identified, or like with the service center, if preschool expands, is there thinking that there's going to need to be more classrooms at the center, or are they going to go to the buildings? I don't know if any of that's come up, or if the vestibule issue and cameras.
We've invested significantly in the service center. They're putting a new roof on it now. We had to do quite a bit of work to the masonry walls to stabilize it a couple years ago. Currently, we're not adding classrooms to that building as they are being added out in the elementary buildings, so we don't anticipate an expansion there. But you know, we're well aware of what's going on in that building and what investments may be needed in the future. But we've really caught that building up the last 3 years in its needs. The playground, I'd love to have a different solution to that playground.
When I retired, I told Robert Townsley and Carla that they were supposed to figure out a way to get a playground up on the tennis courts and a path to get there. You know.
There's a ravine.
Yeah, I know. I just was.
To cross.
I was
Grand
trying to
Canyon
figure
to
out
cross.
something, or someplace else to put the buses.
I'm sorry, I did have one other thing I wanted to mention, and this is for the committee as much as anybody. $70 million is a lot of money. Speaking from personal experience, it never goes nearly as far as you want it to go. And so we're going to be making a lot of promises up there. And we need to probably put something in there that this is our best estimate, because, you know, we have a wish list that is pretty extensive, and I know we could spend probably $150 million, probably more than that, frankly, to really get our facilities up to the point where I believe they're pristine, but, you know, that's just not for us. But we probably need to have something on that site that says this is based on our best cost estimate, so people understand, because I've been caught in that a couple of times, and you got to be very careful about that.
I want to thank the committee. I know that you spent many, many hours going through a lot of information, listening to a lot of people, distilling it down for us to take in, and I really appreciate your time, and frankly, because that's time I don't have to spend doing that. In terms of things we have to consider here as a board, I'm sure this will start a intense period of discussion amongst the board members, the administration, in terms of what and where, how we go from here. My notes to the administration are that should the community choose to support us, we have to be exceedingly careful to deliver on what we promised. For people that are long students of history, people know about MoDOT. They're still paying a political price for promises made and not delivered on in the early 90s. And that's 25 years later. They're still paying a political price for that. So this is a massive opportunity for us in the district. But if we screw this up, we're going to close the doors for a generation in terms of funding. And those things like rebuilding the other two walls at Fox High School will not happen for a generation if we screw this up. So we have to be extremely careful not to overpromise and not to let things creep as we move into this situation. Thank you all to everyone that came. I really appreciate your time and your efforts.
You guys have heard enough from me today. I do want to thank Luke, Chris, John, and Sam, though. Sam's over there now. You guys were rock stars, so thank you very, very much. Carol already thanked you, but for what you were able to pull together, we had a really great evening. I appreciated everybody being here. I am going to get a little personal because August 7th, 25 years ago, I was married, and today is my 25th anniversary. So I just want to little thank you. Little shout out to Jennifer Whipke. I love you. All right, and I will be home soon.
I'm just going to make my comment really short. Ditto to everything that was said up here this evening. I think we all were very well informed. You guys did a great job teaching us what you want. I think we have a lot to think about, and I appreciate your time and effort. So thank you very much. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Meeting's adjourned.
So,